Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, DPalm. Follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, all the socials at DPalm66. Follow the show at UDPod. Follow the entire MTR Network at, you guessed it, the MTR Network. You found us. Don't you dare lose to subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. Dragging this podcast into 2015, one episode at a time. The YouTube channel is at UDPod66. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, do all the things that make this thing something. I don't know. Giving it a shot. As always, brought to you by the good folks at the MTR Network, and brought to you by DanielPalmerMortgages.com. If you can pay your rent, you can pay a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. MTR Network, I just mentioned it, the Insanity Check is back in these trying times, and because things are looking a little dark, I, of course, was on there this week. We talked about turning into like an impromptu UD pod. So we're going to talk about a lot of things that make me laugh and have a lot of fun here today. But if you want to hear me angry for like an hour and a half, yeah, I'm glad my therapy can now be content. Speaking of therapy as content, I've got a really good friend on here. He writes for The Ringer. He writes for Yahoo. He writes for Complex. He's talking to people. He's I'm going to stop saying nice things about him. What up, Cam?
Hey man, what's going on? Happy to be here, happy to be alive, happy to keep this thing pushing, keep this thing going, happy to try to put some good things out into the world for sure.
Because until about 45 minutes ago, you were blocked on Instagram by me, apparently.
I
So
wasn't gonna bring it back up.
my question, Cameron, is what'd you do?
It must have been a football meme. That's the only thing it could have been. It could only be because I'm like, what would I ever do to D Palm? Like ever to actually like upset him? I can't even think of it.
So I tried to tag you in something months ago, and I
Mm.
couldn't find you. I was like, oh, this nigga's so big, he off Instagram now. Oh my god. Wait a second. How's
Nope.
this writer spreading his words? Anyway, I completely moved on from it. Didn't think about it because I'm an adult and have other things on my mind. But I was like getting ready for this, and I was like, wait, where does Cam? Like, I need a bio on Cam. So I googled Cameron Hawkins, thinking it would take me to one of your many author pages, and I just go to the Instagram. I'm like, wait a second, he exists, and I click on it, and it's like unblock, and I was like, wait,
I can only imagine that a
I
football
honestly don't
team.
think it was anything. Your team's never beaten my team, so like, why would I be upset about this?
You got me. It takes a lot for me to block somebody on Instagram. Like on Twitter, I get you. And listen, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
imagine how many
no
people
chopper
you've
spread.
blocked on. Think about how many people you probably blocked on Facebook in the last, day. I've been blocking people
Oh
on
no,
Facebook. I know my whole life.
oh, I'm clean, dog. I after Trayvon Martin died, I cleaned up a lot of the chaff, if you will.
Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, people. I bet you were smarter. We grew up down the street from each other. I know who your parents are. I know where you went to school. I saw your grades. How did your brain turn into this? But yeah. Thank you for unblocking me. That was nice.
I will mention. I will just say this. I did say it on the Insanity Check this week. The old George Carlin line of, think of the average American. Really think of them. Think of how stupid that person is, and then recognize that half of them are dumber than that, because that's what average means. It's how
Yeah.
numbers work. But if you don't know Cameron Hawkins, for the record, like this guy has blown up. He's all over the place. He is the name in combat writing these days. But I do want to say that on all his bios, it's not mentioned. He got his start here on the MTR Network, slumming it, talking about comic books. So
That is
like,
true.
I want
That
that.
is true.
I want my hand in that origin story. I'm in the origin story of that kicker from Kansas City. What's his name?
Harrison
Yes, I'm
Bucker.
in his origin story, and he owes me money and an apology for how he started out. He went to my high school, and so Susan and I are going. We went to a Columbia Harvard game because nerds, and we're walking around the concourse and talking to my old teammates, and I see a kid in my high school's leather jacket, and I'm like, "Hey, are you thinking about coming here?" We talked for a second, and my only advice to him was, go to a place where you're going to feel comfortable for the 99% of the time you're not at the facility. He ended up going to Tech, becoming Tech's leading scorer of all time, and now he kicks for the Chiefs. And if he'd gone to Columbia, that wouldn't have happened. Just wouldn't have happened. And so
Yeah.
this is my fault. But I like to think that
You
I
put
just
him out into the world, man. Way to
I
go.
was
Great
like, go where
great
you're gonna be
advice,
happiest. He's
Palm.
like, I'm not leaving home, and he stayed in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
you're all welcome. But yeah, I got you here, man. I'm so excited to talk to you because you are truly a subject matter expert as to why I'm here today, and that is the uniting power of bad Latina women. No, that's terrible. I'm not gonna do that. I am going to talk about Super Bowl with you because we're going to get to the other subjects that I do want to talk about. But first and foremost, we talk about winners here, Cam. We don't talk about losers. We talk about winners first. So Seahawks and that defense and the suffocating nature with which, like, at what point did you realize it was over as a game?
9-0.
Third field goal is exactly what I said.
9-0.
Wait a second.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. The fact that they had no answer for like a very obvious 6-man blitz, like nobody could get hot, nobody could flare out. It was just guys off the edge and even guys up the middle who could just get there. And listen, man, and kid Drake Maye was just seeing ghosts. He was just seeing ghosts. He thought there was.
He was seeing.
Who was he seeing?
He was seeing
goblins.
Will Campbell getting thrown around.
Oh my god!
Because Cam, like I played line in college. I'm a lineman at heart. I watched that film. 14 pressures, which is the most anyone's given up all season in a football game. He did it in the Super Bowl. I've had that nightmare. I've woken up in a cold sweat and been like, "Oh God, no! Oh, it wasn't real." That game.
He was getting blasted, man.
My worst nightmare.
You know how bad you have to play on Sunday for them to say, "We promise you that." What is it? February. We promise you that 7 months from now, that will be our left tackle. Like they had to say that to make sure you were confident enough to come back. That wasn't for the media. That was for you. Like
this is the
he was getting blasted.
Confidence, brother. This is the.
And they just look. There's something about those Seahawks uniforms that makes them all look like superheroes, right? Like you got 50 Aquaman coming at you. And they just looked bigger and badder, and they could just get everywhere faster. That, like I know, the names of the secondary. Shout out to Reek Woolen, who went to college right here in San Antonio. I bet they got on him for giving up that one touchdown until that second touchdown because they knew they were going to win. But hey, Mac Jones, not Mac Jones, Drake Maye with a perfect ball.
I really thought we were getting a shout out.
Yeah. But no, man, it was I've never seen anything like that. Not at the pro level where they're just sending everybody at you, daring you to make the right thing happen. And the right thing just never appeared. Like Hunter Henry's in year 10. So might he get open for 3 or 4 yards hot? Yeah. He's not going to beat anybody to a spot that's really going to do any damage. They have an old Stephon Diggs, who is, there's no way his mind was on the football game.
Look, the ball spin after the third down catch.
And then he realized in his mind, oh God, what am I thinking? We are losing this
receiver shit. His brain was like, I'm a receiver, damn it. That's what he was thinking.
No, but listen, man. And then on the flip side, they had enough. Cooper Kupp is still a facsimile of Cooper Kupp. JSN demands so much attention that Cooper Kupp can do Cooper Kupp stuff. Big white fast tight end. Always good to have one of those. And then, so Palm, I know we don't necessarily have the exact same religious background, but I absolutely grew up in a house where after church on a Sunday or just on a Saturday when you're cleaning the house, you're going to get a lot of, Gladys Knight, a lot of Patti LaBelle,
Hold on, time out. We grew up in very similar homes.
Okay, you just made some smart decisions later on.
Let's just square this right now.
Okay. But you know exactly what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Listen, man. What's the kid's name? Is it Kenneth Walker?
Yes.
Have you seen how he dresses off the field? Did you see those graphics?
I did.
Like, one, I'm sure he's bald by choice. 2, he has the polo that don't flare at the bottom and then some slacks. He's 25 years old.
Yep.
And you know what? That is like the soul of the running back you want in the Super Bowl. Because, buddy, he was hitting them up the middle. He was hitting them outside. Hammer, 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 hammer. It reminded me of
just set him up like, man.
And he's better than this. But you remember that one great game that Michael Bennett had his whole career in the Super Bowl for Tampa?
Yes. It's true, but me.
Hey, man, it was. And listen, Sam didn't fuck it up.
And wasn't that the bar, though? Like, wasn't like, man, I hope Sam will throw him out of this. And there was a couple seconds where it was like, ooh, Sam might try to throw them out of this.
Yeah, if you, and listen, shout out to Christian Gonzalez. And not just him. There were a bunch of guys. There were a bunch of guys undercutting balls. And like with Christian Gonzalez, I felt like that was him making plays. Some of those guys were undercutting balls because they were bad balls on both sides, right? Yes. But he put up, 50% passing. I think he was like 17 for 33, 202 yards, and a touchdown. Numbers that would not even get you to the Pro Bowl. Because that means you average what? You have
time out. Shador made the Pro Bowl. So wait,
wouldn't get you to the Pro Bowl. Shador was dragged to the Pro Bowl. He was picked up and put into the Pro Bowl.
A distinction with a difference.
But no, if you average 200 yards over 17 games, like what is that? That's 3,400, 17 touchdowns at 50% passing. You might make the Pro Bowl if your team wins. Those aren't team winning numbers. But hey, you didn't fuck it up. And now nobody can tell you nothing. The only USC quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
How many Texas quarterbacks have won Super Bowls?
Like on my PlayStation? No. Hey man, that's not what we do. It's funny
because Matthew Stafford went to Georgia. It's the only reason.
And listen, shout out to Matthew Stafford might have played his way into the Hall of Fame. So salute to him, man.
An MVP in a Super Bowl, yeah, he's a Hall of Fame.
That did it. That did it.
He was the only quarterback at like 1 billion years old who could look at that Seahawks secondary and said, I can throw through it, and did it consistently.
I was on the plane watching that game. I was coming back from Vegas, and one play away. That was a fantastic football game. That really was. But we all kind of felt like
perfect.
Oh, you got it.
No, go ahead.
Whoever won that game was going to win the Super Bowl. Like it felt very obvious.
That was Super Bowl. That was it. That was Super Bowl.
But no, I just loved the way that defense. Listen, a Texas quarterback has not won a Super Bowl, but they don't win that game without Byron Murphy, who is one of those guys who was just dominant in college, right? But it's great to see those guys make plays. That was. Yeah, man. As somebody who just loves defensive football, they were a joy to watch. Just fly around and take advantage. And listen, man, Drake May was throwing up them ducks at the end of the game, boy, begging them to pick it off. They finally got him, but it could have been a lot worse. So salute to him for hanging in there. But yeah, man, that was not. Football guys know when there's bad line play. Everybody knows that man was getting whooped.
That's the one that
come back from that.
It's that once everyone knows, I would joke with Felder that if you hear your number and you play defensive back or offensive line, it's probably a bad thing. It's probably a bad thing to hit your number even get hurt. People to know your name is definitely a bad thing. It's for sure a bad thing. And I actually watched a podcast with Andrew Whitworth and Ryan Fitzpatrick before we got on here. I saw a little clip. Whit was talking about how he tries to set like a Whitworth or like a Lane Johnson, but he doesn't have the frame for it. And if he was more excited, if he was, I think I can't think of who he uses the comp, but if he jump set more, it was more aggressive in his pass sets, it would behoove him more because his feet are faster. He didn't have that frame that can really withhold that deep set. And it's one of those things that's like, that's right, and that's true, and I hope he does that. Teron Armstead is who he referenced. I was like, I hope he does that, but man, this is a level of nuance that's going to escape. He's just going to catch hell for a year. Because you got to remember, why do we know his name? Because
this is what they said about him in the draft for the short arms, right?
Well, no, not even that. Do you remember his quote in the draft interviews?
What did he say?
Defensive end's one thing. If I get a sack a game, that's 12 sacks. I'm a first round draft pick. If I give a sack a game, I'm working at Amazon. And I'm like,
Hey, man.
homie, like, you Fort Lake certified or whatnot? Like, what you want me to do? Like, I feel for him, but the jokes just to keep coming.
Yeah, man. Bless his heart. That is. Yeah, he gonna have nightmares. It's just that dark blue. Yeah, they made a lot of guys a lot of money. Yeah. I want to watch it again.
What Josh, what Mike McDaniel said about the offensive line for the Patriots?
I did not.
He said the first time we watched film, we realized that they were tipping their sets. Cameron, I wanted to say something right now. That's a high school problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem for people who had algebra in the afternoon and ate square pizza.
Yeah. And you're talking about not just pro level coaches, but these monsters with supercomputers in their brains who, as soon as they get the call on what they're seeing, know exactly how to attack it.
It was one of those games. Do you remember when Florida beat Ohio State in that national title game by 4 touchdowns? The story goes.
This is the Chris Leak team, right?
Mm-hmm. Before the game, the Florida staffers, they just finished the SEC title game, and Ohio State had just blown someone out in the Big Ten title game. They're like, we're going to play Ohio State. And the video staffers went to Urban Meyer and looked him in the eye and says, well, what'd you see? He says, 2 touchdowns. What? We're going to beat them by 2 touchdowns. And they beat them by 4. Mm-hmm. If you know football, there are certain things where you're like, oh, this is a mismatch from Jump Street. And this was one of those. This was one of those, like, hey, you guys, like, and I'm sure Drake Mays, and we talked about last week with Felder, he lives on the street from the kid's parents, like, really great kid, apparently, like, hope all his future's bright for him. That was a big stage with some bright lights. And the path there had been bumpy for him, like, the number, I think he's taken 21 sacks over 4 games.
Most ever in a postseason.
It's so,
ever.
And, like, I joke and I laugh because it is funny, but also that's how you ruin a quarterback. Like, that's, you want a picture of, like, how do you shake someone's psyche for years? Exhibit A, Sam Darnold. It's shit like this. So I'm hoping for the best for the kid. I do think that it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because football coaches know, man. Football people know. Listen to them when they talk about stuff like this because that tape, going into it, I was like, this could be one of those old school. You're my age. You're younger than me, but you're my age-ish. We used to have blowouts in this motherfucker. Like, this used to not be a fun night.
I'm a Washington fan. We used to beat people down. Well, we used to beat people down in those games. Like, yeah, you look at what there's that one Super Bowl that Dion talks about with the Cowboys. And it might have been the Bills. Well, they were just like, we put the tape on, and we knew we were going to kill them. Like, it wasn't even.
Remember Tampa Bay, Oakland?
Brother. They were already old, right? But everybody on Oakland aged 10 years the night before that game. It wasn't even.
Well, you know the real reason why. What? You know, right? What happened?
What happened?
Oh, I don't know what stories are widely known. I hope this is a widely known story. I don't think I'm telling. Whatever. It's 20 years ago. So Callahan took over the team after Gruden leaves reigning MVP Rich Gannon to go to Tampa Bay. Everyone thinks that's crazy. Brian Callahan didn't change any of the calls. So they get to the game, and they're like, wait a second. This is my offense with my terminology. The Bucs have been practicing us that all offseason. Like, what are you talking? They beat the dog. They knew what was happening.
It's not great. It's not great. But yeah, like I said, we're spoiled the last few years or so. And again, what Philly did to Kansas City. Yeah, that thing, it's not over, but that thing ain't gonna be the same.
Wobbly. It's wobbly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because they got a bunch of wide receivers that decided they're actually wide receivers in the way that it used to be not okay to be a wide receiver. Yeah, yeah.
They had one of them, and they were like, "We can control one," and then they were like, well, "Let's get six." And they're like, "Well, the math."
Yeah,
No.
eventually it comes to a head.
We kept Tyreek under wraps for long enough, right? We can do it with six of them. No, you can't. You can't. And guess what, Miami? You can't do it with Tyreek in Miami. You can kind of do it in Kansas City. Ain't shit to do. Tyreek Hill in Miami. This was sorry. This is not the I told you so business.
Super Bowl halftime every day.
Oh, speaking of Cameron, imagine with me. Just use your imagination. You're a smart man. Mm-hmm. Imagine with me being such a loser. Being such a loser that you're like, hey, this music that makes people dance, this spirit of togetherness and collectivity, nuts to that. I want to see Kid Rock in khaki shorts, dog. I want to see. I love the English language so much. Ba with the ba.
Diggy, diggy, diggy. Yeah. Politically, there are things that I will try to embrace, people I would try to embrace, ideas I would try to embrace. One thing I'm not going to turn away is like neutral fun, just fun. And, me personally, like not to say everybody doesn't have a strong, some type of Hispanic population around them. Like, I'm from Texas. I'm from South Texas. Like, when I go out,
you make me ask the question I gotta ask, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody when I ask the question. Mm-hmm. Over the last, call it 2 weeks, how many times you had to clarify that he's not Mexican, he's Puerto Rican? Because I was born in Houston, and I know where you live. Like, and
it was no.
To be fair to everyone who asked, it's a logical question based on where they live.
It's so prevalent. Like, that music is so prevalent out here, like San Antonio, in Austin, and of course the places that I frequent. That's what the girls are listening to. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. So but it does pain me. Again, you hop on the Facebook, you hop on the socials, and you'll see people from like here be like, I'm not listening at halftime. What about America? It's like, bro, again, I grew up with you. You were next to me at the quinceañera. Like, we both had on the funny boots and the tuxedo.
We bought gifts, dog. We went half on, like, you know what I'm saying?
People acting brand new, man. And it was just, and the toughest part about it though, even if you watch that on mute, it was a beautiful story that was told. And that's what's tough, because like what we're telling are American stories, what's Kid Rock's story? My parents had a lot of money, so I cosplayed a few decades, because that's what America's about. No, it's not.
And proximity to power tends to work in your favor if you're a white guy. I loved, like, what's really gutting to me, especially talking to you being in media as you are, is watching the media critique, watching the brain drain from media show direct effect. People being like, what a non-political good time. Like, bitch, it started in sugarcane fields. What are you talking about? For those who don't know, for the American slave, the threat was, we'll send your family to the sugarcane fields, where people are still working today.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people, I'm a DMV guy. Both my grandfathers were sharecroppers. Like, soon as that comes on, that means something to me. Somebody was like, did he really have to put EBT accepted here on the side of the building? Yes. And guess what?
Otherwise, it's not his building.
Yeah. And guess what? A bunch of people who decided to go to YouTube to watch Kid Rock and them use the dang EBT cards when they go in that store. It's very frustrating when people choose to ignore the things that would make them better, and not make them better for like me or make them better for you. That would make them feel better about themselves. They would make them like want to be more and to give more, and they just ignore that. And these are the type of things, like, when they came out with all them flags, man, and shout out to Bad Bunny for also, he didn't forget about Jamaica. He didn't forget about Haiti. He didn't forget about the DR.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, he held it down.
Canada.
Hey, salute to him, man. They got a couple of us up there. Shout out to the Rock in them, man. But yeah,
Sure.
he held it down. He really did. And it was just beautiful. And it just people are missing out, man. We live in a crazy world right now, you know.
I mean, not just right now. We could have it's a much longer conversation. Happy Black History Month, where we kind of like have a real hard look at like what this country's been and what it is and what it claims to be. And I think that Sunday was a beautiful distillation of what it can be at its best. We can embrace all the ugliness. It doesn't have to be ignored. It can be addressed and accepted. I think that's always the stumbling block. I always joke that like racism's biggest problem is white people's fragility, because every black person I know jokes about racism.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those like ever-present things in our lives that if you don't laugh about, you cry about. White people act like it's the racism. Like, yes, motherfucker. Also, like air and water. What are you talking about? Like,
why can't we just move on? Like, come over here. Let's move on. let's move on together.
That means we gotta leave a place, which means we gotta gather our shit in the place we're in and then move together. We can't just burn this motherfucker down. Like, that never happened. Move forward. That's
exactly
how anything works.
And that's how we end up with 2 Super Bowl halftime shows. Well, a Super Bowl halftime show and then some other shit they was doing over there.
So you know what's crazy? The numbers are in on Big Bad Bunny's performance. 128 million people. It's the second most all time. You know how number one is?
Is it still Mike?
Hey Drake.
Hi man.
At 133, which means, Cameron, the 5 billion Turning Point viewers
they
put
would
them in
rather
second place. That was the 5 million. That was 128 to 133. That was the 5. Yeah. That's fucking crazy to me. Yeah. How spiteful you must be. How much hate must be in your heart. Doesn't that, you know, it's, here you go. You know how hate ages you? Kid Rock and Ricky Martin are born in the same year.
Ricky Martin looked fantastic. Ricky Martin looked fantastic. Yeah, man. Yeah. It was, again, like I
Living La Vida Loca horse shit either. He was really singing that.
He was out there singing that ballad, boy. He had on some pants, but he also had on like a scarf over the pants that was kind of a belt, but wasn't a belt. Then he had on the shirt. Yeah, man, he was tough out there, man. Boy had it together sure.
I'm wearing a T-shirt with an Always Sunny quote on it. I have no way to truly understand what he was bringing fashion-wise. I'll tell you this: looks great, sounds fantastic, and look, he's having a great. Speaking of fantastic, Jessica Alba, what the fuck?
Still got it.
The fastball, my man.
Like fastball. That's still Honey Daniels some type of way. Yeah, man. Hey, man. Love keeps you young. And Pedro is back there in the cut, like he always is when some baddies is around. I'm gonna be there.
Pedro
back there having the ball.
Dude, I hate crowds, but I'm in them. I overcome my fear of crowds for this.
Yeah, man. He was like a little bit behind the pillar. he was ducking a little bit, but hey, man, when you got to pull up,
Because we were watching, and Susan goes, "Is that Pedro Pascal?" I was like, "Bitch, come on, relax." You know, that was Pedro Pascal. I'll be damned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Did you see Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah. See, you know, and I'm not laughing at her. Cool. I've been thinking about, like, you know, we drafted DeJuan Blair back in the day, and DeJuan Blair had no ACLs. When we drafted him, like, they just weren't in his body anymore. Shout out to Pitt. But yes, I don't know how any of them land right during the Winter Olympics, dog. Like, don't get it. I know her daddy gonna take somebody out.
Pride is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because after the reconstruction, I understand wanting to climb that mountain. I understand wanting to achieve that goal.
You sound like What do you see as Frederick Douglass after the Reconstruction? Sorry, keep going.
One of her knees is titanium, Cameron.
Yeah.
And she said, "Let me get back on these fucking skis." So she gets back on the skis and she busts her other ACL, which is, despite what you may believe religiously, is someone somewhere telling you to sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And she said, "I say thee nay, fate." And she went out once again. And this mountain, which for the record, she apparently has owned. I don't know shit about downhill skiing. I did some Googling. She apparently has set records on this mountain. She is that motherfucker on this mountain. And the mountain said, "I've been here generations."
Eventually got to come home.
The mountain said, "Hubris, bitch, I told you to sit down twice." And I can't imagine the scene. Like, you're right, her daddy mad as hell. And I'd be mad as hell too. Because apparently there was some endorsement money on the line if she did whatever. I don't know anybody. I'm not saying anybody's pocket. I am saying he loves his daughter to the point to right until now he's bit his tongue.
Yeah.
Because him vocalizing it now is not a change of mind. It's not a decision he made. He has bitten his tongue to at least the public, if not to his daughter, I'm sure as well.
Yeah.
For long enough to watch this happen, watch his baby hurt herself. I get it. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a tangentially related story, Charlie Woods has committed to FSU.
Oh.
Already smarter than his daddy.
So my sister went to FAMU, and it's I went to her graduation, so I was with her that weekend. It's a little different on the other side of the road, man.
So
a little different.
You don't know this. The first place I ever got a scholarship offer from was FAMU. I went to Bowden's camp, had a good camp, and I came home and there's a letter waiting for me that was an offer, going into senior year, offer to go to FAMU. I looked at it, and I looked up FAMU and learned about it, and I turned to my parents and said, "If I go, I won't go to class." Which is a level of self-knowledge that I'm sad that young Daniel had, honestly. But I'm also a little bit proud.
On the other side of I-35 from UT, there's HT, Houston Tillerton, HBCU. Yes.
Yes.
You could listen, man. You're not supposed to be able to just.
No, you're not.
Up until recently, they didn't let you put two different ice creams in your Baskin and Robbins. You just had to rock with the one. 3 scoops, but you can only rock with the one.
All right.
But sorry.
This Neapolitan motherfucker over here.
It's fair.
It's so good to have you back on. Tonight is football season's over. It's sad. We're all sad. But tonight, Lakers Spurs is happening, which means it's Wrestlemania season. Gotcha, bitches. Sorry. I can't have Cameron on here and not yell about some wrestling. Brother, the injury bug appears to have bit once again.
Yeah.
Creatively, historically, it's when I've seen some pretty cool things come happen out of the E. Am I banking on too much history, or are we in trouble along the reports? Like, I always say this about wrestling coverage and media, and I love what you do because whatever, I know what you do, and we're talking about that in a second. But if they want you to see it, if you see it, you're supposed to see it. So the reports coming out about they're concerned about the flat buy rate, there's a reason they're telling you that. Is this a real concern, or are we on the road to a pretty cool mania?
2 years ago, and then a year ago, I made the point where it didn't happen on purpose, but they looked up and they had 8 main eventers. They had Cody, they had Roman, they
Mhm.
had Drew, they had all of a sudden they had Punk, they had Damian Priest, and then it was who were the last two? It was Seth Rollins, of course, and then I think I slided in. I might have slided in Logan Paul. I don't know if that was me, but
This is
basically
before you get to the women too.
that's so yeah. Just on the men's side, that's who they have, right? If you got eight, it's like two quarterbacks. You got two quarterbacks, you don't have one, right? I think that so many guys got over and the crowd accepted them that even though you had to do Cody and Roman, what were you going to do when you came out of there, right? And Gunther was the guy. I apologize. It was Gunther, of course, right? So you have all these guys right there at the top, and because you have so much programming every week, so many shows, bunch of rosters, you just can't spread that out evenly. And so people end up getting defined down. They're going to do Punk Roman as the main
Yeah.
event. We're all pretty sure on that. But outside of that,
Elimination
like,
Chamber looming, brother.
yeah. And listen, that's going to be fantastic. And
I'm
LA
excited.
Knight is right
I'm
there.
so
Like, that's going
excited
to be
for this.
fantastic. But it's like, damn, how good would it be if you could have done Elimination Chamber night one of Mania with all these guys who are up there? You know,
There you
I
go.
think that they're so, and then like, listen, man, they already put my man Trick in the main event picture, right? You know, Oba sitting right there. It's
Young OG.
Listen, man, I keep telling people like I'm like that's Rey Mysterio. They're like, no, that's Jeff Hardy. I'm like, guys, I love Jeff
Mhm.
Hardy. We all love Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy couldn't do that stuff. Jeff Hardy could do a swanton. He could jump off of stuff. Jeff Hardy couldn't
Oh,
do that
that's not
stuff
my
that
comp.
Javon's doing.
Oh, that's not my comp.
Who
Oh,
would you say?
my comp is Young and Will Ospreay
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
before he filled out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yes,
That's my
but the
comp
kid
because
is
he
kid's
hits that
incredible.
that inverted spin kick. He hits it
Yeah,
just like Ospreay does. So I'm like,
and
okay,
it's
that's too
beautiful.
much
But
for
he's
me.
so. But
It's
you know what the thing
beautiful.
is though? Like Osprey ain't 6'2". You know what I mean? So it makes it look even better. Javon's
Exactly.
amazing. But on the women's side, um, I think they did a great thing with calling up Stephanie Vicaire, right? But like, is Jordan a strong enough challenger with what she's done for a Jade? And can that match be really good? They think Bianca's coming back. Of course, you can slot Bianca in wherever and it's going to hit. You got Liv in there who won the Royal Rumble. I think on the women's side, they're fine. I think on the women's side, they're
Can I ask a
perfectly
weird
fine.
question that kind of distracts from what we're talking about?
Mhm.
Just as a nerd and as a stardom, someone who got to stardom really late. What's up with Julia, man? Like, what are we doing? Like, was it just a missed call up? Is it just a bad creative? It's not sinking in. Like, for me, it's not sinking in the ring either, which I think's been weird.
I think that they thought her and Stephanie were going to be neck and neck. I think they thought the crowd was going to respond to them the same. I think they thought the
Yeah,
matches were going to be just as good. And Stephanie took off on everybody, you know?
yeah.
And so I do think that Julia not necessarily getting to be in the main event. Um, I don't know her. I've never talked to her, but I can see how it affect her confidence. And I think that might be why things are a little off. And also, like they have her doing this thing with Kayla. Uh, that should be fun. Like that's cool. But like, yeah, you would have loved to have seen her up there too, like as a main eventer.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I think the women are going to be fine
But
with
growth
whatever
is
they do.
weird in this business, and we've all seen it. We've all experienced it or watched it long enough. Before I get into like the esoteric weird questions, um, because you know they're coming. Um, this Cody thing, slow
Mhm.
heel turn, or just like we're giving more depth to like a 3D version of the character.
God, I hope it's a slow heel turn. Um, I
God,
want to see. I want Homelander, man. I want Homelander.
he's there. He
I
gives us
really do.
flashes like 3 times a year, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and but that's like the Cena heel turn thing. That's like the never. That's like the unsubtle acknowledgement of that. So like, I don't know. It's. I think he did a really good job of coming back and doing what he wanted to do and getting super freaking over. But I'll be honest. I was killing time on my phone before you got here, and I saw that the 2K26 marketing is starting to roll out. Did you see the entries
Mhm.
that were just posted on Twitter right before we got on?
I did not. What was it?
The revolution is here,
Hey, man. You
and
know,
it looks
um,
fantastic. When you look at it, you're gonna text me. You're like, "Oh shit!" Like it is that
no,
good.
it's funny. I was with him on Friday, as a matter of fact. We went out to the local bar,
Let's
and
not be let's not be weird for people who don't know. Cameron is Friends. I think Friends is just a good blanket term with Ricky Saints, the former
mhm.
Ricky Starks. He's making his WWE 2K video game debut this coming spring. I believe it's coming out in a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we were out on Friday night, got a couple of drinks, and it was so funny because uh, my man from AEW Security, my man Beastie, he's a light skinned dude with the big beard.
Hmm.
So 2 weeks ago, they were in Austin, and we all went out after the show. It's like me, him, Kev Knight, and this guy that I know from around the way that I always see out, my man Cortez. They dapped each other up. I was like, "You know him?" He's like, "No, that's my cousin." I was like, "Of course he's your cousin, because why wouldn't he be your cousin?" So then we're out there with Rick, and like I'm introducing him. He's like, "Yeah, such and such my cousin." He's like, "Oh, that's my man." Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Yo, this is my man here. This big light skinned cat." And he was like, "Yo, he played ball with Dion Lennox." And he was like, "Word." He's like, "I love Dion." And Ricky looked at me. He was like, "Is this a setup?" I was like, "No, dog. Like they just happen to be guys who know guys." But yeah, man. Salute to Rick. I got to check that out. We had a good talk. We always have good talks. We had a good talk on Friday. We hadn't seen
Yes.
each other in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's my guy. But no, to name drop on the other side, Cody hit me a few weeks ago and he was like, "Hey Cam,
Unbelievable.
you're really gonna like what is it David Dalmaschain? Is that how you say his name? The actor from Late
Oh
Night with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Devil?"
yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, "Cam, you're really gonna like what he does with M. Bison." I said, "Oh, good to hear. Good to hear." So that's exciting. That's exciting. Just
I
stealing the
had so many
valor.
nice
Just
things. I had
stealing the
so
valor.
many. I had so many nice things to say about
Stealing the
you, man.
valor.
I have like literally like if you go to the show doc, the last I was like, all right, say these nice things about Cameron because you appreciate him as a man and a friend, and you really enjoyed watching him grow as a person. Fuck you.
It went
For
40
me,
minutes. I went 40 minutes without a name drop, bro. I'm working on it. Trying to be a better man.
I'm so glad
But
you
no,
brought him
today's you
up.
know what today is? It's
What's today?
it's Rick's 1 year anniversary of debuting. Um
That's
and
awesome. That
so
now that's a cool time to drop that. Yeah. Text him like tell that's what's up, man. That's really cool.
yeah, man.
I do
Happy
want to
work
say
anniversary.
this. Right? It's just really one. I got a new job. I do
Mhm.
want to say this. Um, the things I like to read about because I think that writers matter to the building of the aura of the thing. There's two people who I read about things that I care about. I'm like, damn, I get mad reading them because I think to myself, not only do I wish I'd written it, but I know I probably couldn't have. The first is Spencer Hall. I think he's the best college football writer on the planet. He
Wonderful.
actively infuriates me twice a season.
Mhm.
The other one happens to be you piece of shit, because
Well, know
you
this.
found a way to make this thing, which is grown-ups playing in their underwear.
Mhm.
You find ways to make it lyrical in a way that's hard to explain, because there's an old saying about wrestling. For those who need an explanation, none will suffice. For those who don't, none will suffice. None for the other one, none necessary. And you find a way to bridge that world, bridge that gap. What is it about? And part of it, I'll be honest, I'm not trying to denigrate anyone we both know, but it feels like there's a level of care and nuance that you're able to draw out of your subjects when you're writing about people. Is it your lived experience of being who you are in the life you've lived, or is it something else? Is it a search for the humanity in these larger than life characters? What do you say kind of helps you find that place in that writer thing? Because I do hate admitting that I'm jealous of any facet of your life, but this is the one. I'm not jealous of you flying all
Yeah,
over,
there's
being in the background of
nothing
Daniel
else.
Cormier videos. I'm not
That was me.
jealous of you putting yourself over on my podcast. I'm not jealous of um I'm not jealous of you not having a 2-year-old screaming. I'm not jealous of any of these things about you. I am a little bit jealous of the way you're able to draw this out of people. So kind of share a little bit of light if you can on how you pull that off.
I think it's asking the right questions. Number one, like I don't. When did you fall in love with wrestling? It's a great question, but if you're only asking for names and dates and times, what are you really doing? Like, I remember talking to Liv Morgan, and I knew she was a big uh, Child's Play fan, and so we talked for like 20 minutes about the Child's Play movies and why this one was good, why that one wasn't, and then her connection to horror and how she, kind of tapped into someone with a bit of more violent and unsuspecting nature when she was facing Rhonda. And so that stuff runs together. Like, you got to care about what they care about, you know? When I talked to like a Carmelo Hayes, it was like you, before you ever touched WWE, you had a triple threat match with Rey Mysterio and Darby Allin. Like, what are you learning here that's valuable that you didn't have before? When I talked to Shawn Michaels, first thing I said to him was, "Hey, you stole our varsity football my freshman year, and we had to run laps on Monday because of you." And it immediately like disarms him to where he's more comfortable. So it's like I said, I'm with Rick on Friday night. We're just at the bar talking and kicking it like about our lives, and um, I think I've always just kind of been that person because if I'm talking to you, I'm really talking to you. Like it's that was for a job, but we're kicking it. We're hanging out, man. Like we are here to get to know each other. And then if I'm the person you trust to tell your story, the story's got to be good. The story's really got to be about you. So it's always like you don't always get a thank you, but when you do get a thank you, it's like, oh, okay, like I told this thing the way they want me to. So I just think the nuance comes from when I'm like writing sentences. Um, Sometimes stuck on one and I'll flip it around three, four, five, six times, like to really get that thought out. And normally it comes out like really, really good. Sometimes there are fucking flops, but normally it comes out really good. No, my whole thing is just I want to tell these people's stories. Stories are important, but how do you make a story worth telling? How do you make a story worth reading? And there's my maybe my favorite thing that I've done outside of like again when I first heard about Ricky, uh, using quotes from Faulkner, and then when I wrote about Swerve, I'm using stuff from uh, Fall of the House of Usher. Like I'm just
Yeah.
pulling from all that nerd shit from high school. But when I talked to LA Knight, I asked him what he listened to. Like what is LA Knight? What's in his headphones? What's in his AirPods? And he's like, well, I don't really listen to a bunch of stuff, but there's this real cool YouTube channel that takes old Michael Jackson songs and flips them and interpolates them. And I was like, bro, that's literally what you do. Like you are this throwback finding a new way to present it. And that was it. It's just I like digging. I like digging,
Yeah.
and normally, if you dig deep enough, you'll find something worth telling, and it's worked out so far. So yeah,
I was trying to explain your writing style to someone else, and I said, you got to understand the people that we watch on television are just theater kids who found the gym. So no matter how flimsy you feel their character is, they've thought their world, there's universes in their
hmm
minds about the character they're portraying and how it's been pulled, like you and me. Like the thing that I think that the commonality that you and Spencer both have, aside from your ability as writers, is your expansive personal knowledge of other shit. You're not pigeonholed like I'm the wrestling guy, so all I think about and talk about and absorb is wrestling. You use the clout from being on MTR to talk to some of my favorite comic writers because you're a piece of shit. But
can't wait for Supergirl to drop. Can't wait. Can't wait.
that was completely uncalled for. But yeah, you're able to incorporate these things, and I think that that's more than anything is people say, "Oh, it's too specific." Or no, it makes everyone in the exchange feel human, the writer, the subject, and the reader. It gives you, even if I've never read, like I was reading something, Spencer makes all these Warhammer references in his books and his writings. I'm like, I don't play fucking Warhammer, but I understand deep lore. I understand the idea of this is how complicated this thing is that I need to set aside 3 paragraphs to explain it to you because it gives reference to everything else, and then you bring it back later, and it's. I think the way you, because Spencer has his own thing, so he doesn't have an editor. He has Holly, but there's no like word count. You have editors. You're able to like you have to cut these things down to the quick because even in like this, especially in this rapid attention span time, it's hard to capture the reading audience. Do you find it more fulfilling to when you? Because I love it when you do this too. When you post the interview, the raw interview clips or like portions of them to accompany the pieces. Which do you find more fulfilling? Is it the quiet time spent writing, which is lonely and is kind of like you said, can be kind of like, how do I fight this? I'm fighting words. What the hell am I doing? Or is it more fulfilling to have those human connections, those human moments exactly among us?
It does depend on the person.
Told you I get weird.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It does depend on the person. I like when I interviewed Javon and he said if he beat Cena for the IC title and that was Cena's last match, he might as well retire too. And people looked at it and were like, "Oh, that's arrogant. Why would he think that?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Oh, I guess I have to post the clip so you can see we're clearly joking and laughing and having fun." You know, if it's, I think with that, it has to be somebody I know. If I want like the full video to come out and us talking, one caveat with Yahoo has been that we never reached a deal for me to post the video interviews, right? Which is fine. But with the Ringer, I have like free reign to do that, you know? So it's worked out. Like me and Drew, oh God, that was so fun because Drew McIntyre's. Did I ever tell you the story about me, Drew, and Sheamus? I'm in LA for WrestleMania. Oh no, it's not one of those stories where I'm cool.
I hope you would.
He's like, those are none of your stories. We're in LA.
You don't hear him. You're just saying them. Trust me, none of them are cool. Go ahead.
I'm going back to the hotel. I stopped by a bar, and Sheamus and Drew are in there. And I'm like sitting next to him. They're talking to a guy, and I'm just like, "Hey." And Drew was like, "Not right now." I was like, "Cool." Drank my drink, minded my business. So I get him on for the feature, and I tell him that story. He was like. And he looked, he stopped, he said, "I am so sorry." He was like, "What was I doing?" And I wanted to say I was probably turned up, but he was like, "I'm so sorry." And he was like, "Brother, next time I see you, I'll buy you a pint." It's like, "Oh, you're so nice." But yeah, Drew was cool, man. But that, again, he's quick-witted and he's a little quirky and he really thinks about what he's saying, and that kind of stuff is great. Like some of the kids in like NXT, I probably wouldn't want to post that full interview, because they're not all super savvy just yet, and you don't want to make them look crazy. But it's the vets. The vets are very, very fun to like for people to see just how they come across for sure.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, talking a little Super Bowl, talk a little wrestling. Do you have anything you want to plug? I know we're entering the season, so I imagine you've got some work coming out.
Yeah. So what was it? Was it last week? Did an interview with Tommaso Ciampa. Just one of my favorites. Not favorite interviews. I love it. I'm sure I'll reflect on it, but one of my favorite wrestlers, just ever. His run with Goldie. I told him like that's one of like my 3 favorite things about NXT. Just incredible. Talk with him for Yahoo about what he wants to do in AEW, about his 10-year plan to finish out his career. Just really, really fun stuff there. Got a couple of things coming up, both Royal Rumble and I guess post Royal Rumble related. A couple of things we're working on for the Ringer, and just did a kind of a blog of sorts. Total Wireless, who is UFC's wireless provider, flew me out to Vegas. Put me up in the hotel, put me on the red carpet, put me at the fight. And so me, it was the coolest thing that ever happened. So I'm not thinking in the moment. And I hit Yahoo. I was like, "Yo, they're doing blah, 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 blah. So what we gonna do?" And they were like, Cameron, like, one, congratulations, you have a fun time, but if they're paying for your trip, you can't write about it for us. And I was like, oh yeah, journalistic integrity. I forgot, my bad. So I reached over to Fightful and was like, hey, I'm gonna write about this thing and I'm just gonna give it to you. Like, you take it. He was like, well, do you want to pay me? I was like, no, Sean, fuck you. No, I don't want to pay you to write. What are you talking about? But that should be out next couple of days, talking about my time in Vegas. We were smack dab in the middle of a Zayn concert and an Eagles concert. So it was the little girls and the old ladies. Zayn is from One Direction, apparently. Yeah. All I know is in the hotel, like every day in the hotel, there was a line of little girls getting merch from one little store. Like they went crazy. It was amazing, apparently. But I talked about my first ever UFC event. Did some really cool stuff there. Met a bunch of people that Deep Palm would love to meet. It was great. And I guess the only other thing, it would be the very best wrestlers of 2025. Myself and 6 writers got together. The wonderful artist Laura Moran put together an ebook based on the old Street Fighter 2 Turbo strategy guide. First big strategy guide I ever had. But yeah, talking about 6 of the wrestlers I thought had the biggest impact on the year, whether it be in the ring, whether it be with the crowd, whether it be how it came across on the TV. So yeah, you can find that at gumroad.com. Just search South Congress or Best Wrestlers. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate having you on. I'm going to have you on some of this offseason because not before, after Wrestlemania. I'll let you get through your busy period and we'll chat some more about the Spurs and the Washington Commanders and anything else I can mock you with. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and we'll talk some comics. We'll have some fun. I think we've I say all this while like my wife's dealing with a crying child. We're kind of dialing in like the life thing now, so hopefully more active on the internet streets. But and now that I'm not blocking you on Instagram, Zuckerberg, you don't want us to be great. He don't want us to collaborate, and that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Zuckerberg, it's them people. It's them people on them phones.
If they're secretly blocking people's friends from them, that would be hilarious. It'd be frightening, but life's frightening.
Because there's a version of this where one of us gets mad about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's how he feels. Like one of us like hitting Rich. One of us hitting Rich. Like really. He's like, hey man, I'll talk to him. I don't know what happened, man.
It's a very low stakes Desus and Mero breakup.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I really appreciate you coming on. We'll be back on Friday, guys. Felder Friday. We're talking about more of the technical aspects of Super Bowl and whatever the hell's on Felder's mind. I honestly can never predict where the podcast is going to go. I write a whole thing on what I want to talk about, and I just throw it away because I'm not in charge of my own show, and I've accepted that at that point. As always, brought to you by MTR Network, the good folks over there. Make sure you subscribe to all the podcast goodness. Check out Insanity Check this week. I'm on it talking about the end of the world. And also brought to you by DanielPaulMortgages.com. If you can afford your rent, you can afford a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Make sure you subscribe at the YouTube channel at UDPod66. Do me a favor, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe, tell all your friends. That was your show. There is no outro. See you guys on Friday.